Rock 93.1 is proud to present 12 Stones in concert at McBee's Bar and Grill on the Res in Ridgeland for a night of live, raw, and unplugged rock and roll March 7th with special guests Storage 24 and Burnham Road. Tickets and VIP tables available at eventbrite.com. Details now at rock931jackson.com. Another Rock 93.1 exclusive.
Boom, shakalaka boom. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio, my daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards, the Fafo King of Central Mississippi. We're on the big stick, broadcasting all throughout Central Mississippi at 103.9 FM, a WYAB. You can listen to WYAB all day, every day, 24/7, 365 by going to WYAB.com, hitting the Listen Live button, then sharing that button to your phone's home screen by hitting Share to Home Screen. And boom, there you go. You got a WYAB app. You can listen to all of our great national and, of course, local hosts here on WYAB. I want to circle back to that in just a second. I had a comparison thought this morning about us versus other, air quotes, conservative talk radio stations in the market, or period, for that matter. We're in stunning 4K. By we, I mean I am in stunning 4K video at Save JXN. You can watch it on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Rumble in the jungle. Rumble. Man, Rumble is really, really picking up, man. I'm hearing more and more normies talk about watching stuff on Rumble. It's not just for political folks that have been kicked off YouTube. There's so much great stuff over there on Rumble. Barstool Sports is over there. A lot of really, really good stuff has migrated over to Rumble. It's, their user interface is getting better and better. Highly, highly recommend it. Of course, you look, YouTube, I watch more YouTube than I watch anything. It is still the most user-friendly app when it comes to watching videos. I just despise their politics, but outside of that, I think YouTube is phenomenal. Just the concept of it. That's why I would like to see Rumble, which is the same concept. We are the entertainment, you know. I would like to see it expand. I think everybody listening should start a YouTube channel. I think everybody listening this morning should start a podcast. I got to text my buddy Jake back. He hit me up about midnight last night as I was laying my head down and said he wants to start a podcast about the automotive world. And this is a guy that would be very good at it. So I'm going to message him back. I tell you, I don't know about legacies and all that kind of stuff, but if we got to talk about leaving a legacy outside of our kids and families and stuff, you know, I hope what people have seen me be able to accomplish on this local level here is that it doesn't matter where you're at in life or what you're doing. You can do something else, or you can, you know, in concert with what you're currently doing. I mean, start a podcast. The best advice I can give you on it, well, let me say this. I hope that what I've shown people is anybody can start a podcast. You don't have to have a big old college degree. You don't have to be an absolute specialist in anything. You can figure it out a little bit. But the advice that I will give on it is make sure it's something you're absolutely passionate about. That you don't care if one person or 1 million people are listening to you. Just, you got to be passionate about it. People got to believe that you're passionate about it and you're not a grifter. And aside from that, you've got to be able to get through the tough times and the lean times when nobody but you or your significant other or your mom is listening or watching your videos or podcasts. And, so make sure it's something you're passionate about that you know you can offer an opinion on a regular basis, whether you're doing one show a week or a show every day. I recommend doing something every day. Just putting it out there. You're going to suck when you start. You're just gonna. Don't overthink it. Don't overproduce it. Anyway, that I didn't mean to go jump down that rabbit hole there, but I'm very passionate about it. I mean, I as passionate as I am about the Jackson stuff and Trump and saving America and dragging Democrats, whether they want to come or not, into making America great again and saving Jackson. Well, I don't know. It's amazing. We can save America, but we can't save Jackson. That says a lot about the people in charge not wanting it to be saved. But we're going to talk about that some today, too, because, of course, we are. It's what we do around here. But, again, on the podcast thing, just if you want to start one, I'll gladly help anybody that wants to do it. But just the first thing is first is know what you're going to talk about and make sure it's something that you're passionate about, because you're not going to have success early on. And if you're doing it to make money, don't. Let me just tell you right now, stop. Don't invest a penny in it. You're not going to make money. I mean, you may eventually, but you're not going to make money. Just assume that you are not going to make money doing a podcast. You need to figure out, other reasons to do it. Maybe you want to be famous, locally famous, whatever. That's fine, but don't do it with the assumption that you're going to make money. It took me a long time to figure out how to monetize the Save Jackson page and all of that stuff. Because if you're doing something local, it doesn't necessarily monetize. You got to do so many millions and millions of views to make any real money on Facebook and YouTube and all that. You can make a few $100 here and there. I can pay my car note. That's great. But I can be doing a lot of other things in the same amount of time and effort it takes to make money on the digital side. TikTok's the only thing I ever made any real substantial money on from a digital platform. Anyway, I could do a whole podcast about, when I say a whole podcast, I could start a new podcast and do one at least once a week about podcasting. That may be something I do at some point. Me and my buddy Daniel Anderson, he does a bunch of podcasts for people out at Audio Alchemy. It's a good place to get started. Your best place to start is your phone. Hit record and go. You don't have to buy a bunch of crap. And you too can have a voice. People get so mad at me online about what I do and don't share. Why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about it? Start there. You talk about it. I wish everybody would talk about it. I mean, we live in this day and age where we've got the world literally at our fingertips with these phones and social media, and people are more worried about what somebody else is talking about instead of themselves. You talk about it. That's what I did. That's how I got here. I didn't think people were talking about what I wanted them to talk about. So I started talking about it. I didn't wake up one day and say, I want to be a journalist. I want to be on the radio. I want to start a political Facebook page, and none of that happened. That's not how any of that happened. I just got mad enough that people weren't talking about or showing the things that I wanted to be seen and told, and it just kind of happened. One thing led to another. I can assure you, when I first took those pictures of the Metro Center empty that went viral, that started all this, that I had no idea this is where it was going to land. With me having the number one morning radio show in the market. A couple 100,000 followers. Quitting my day job. But that's the Lord doing the Lord stuff. Kept opening up doors. Just kept opening up doors. Well, how did we get here? I just pinch myself sometimes. And I had what they call imposter syndrome for a while. Like, am I supposed to be here? But I had that before. I always talk about, hitting rock bottom and knowing, and, sometimes you know when you're there. Sometimes you don't know when you're at rock bottom, and that may not even be rock bottom for you. Because I feel like when you really hit rock bottom, you're at rock bottom. But I told the story last night on the live stream we were doing, sort of. It was one of those aha moments anyway. I said, man, this is a great example. When I was up in the, and it's going to sound like I'm bragging here, and hell, maybe I am. Humble brag here, maybe not so humble. But we went to the Florida-Mississippi State football game back in early October, late September, up in Starkville, and we're hanging out in a guy's suite. It's the first time I ever got to go into a skybox or a suite there at the stadium. It was definitely a bucket list thing I wanted to do, and I think anybody who's been to a football game, if they're being honest with you, they'll tell you the same thing. Man, I sure would like to hang out in one of them suites, especially on a hot summer day or a cold winter night. I bet it's nice up in those suites. Anyway, finally got to do that. It was really cool, and I ended up in the president's suite, the president of the universities, and I met, what's his name, Mike Slive, the SEC commissioner. Got a picture with him, and I was just thinking to myself, I was talking about the imposter syndrome, I was thinking to myself, wow, how did I get here? Because I always go back to that time where I was sitting in a dark room, no windows, 5 or 6 people passing around some very, very strong narcotics that was not marijuana in a glass bowl, just rock bottom, absolute, just soul-crushing rock bottom. And I looked around and I thought to myself, how did I get here? I don't belong here. I had imposter syndrome at rock bottom too, because I didn't feel like I belonged there. But you belong wherever you put yourself. So even as I shed that past life, and I'm sitting there and I'm in this big extravagant suite with the president of Mississippi State University, the commissioner of the SEC, Robert St. John, the famous chef, is in there. The governor's wife is in there, and who knows who else. Fred Shanks is in there. Sutton, McRae, the people I was with. Rance, Bilbo. Just all these people, and I'm just like, I was like, this isn't imposter syndrome. I'm supposed to be here. And I think that was that moment where I realized that you're wherever you're supposed to be. There's no imposter syndrome. So it's pretty cool. There was a point in that. There was a point in telling y'all that conversation. I don't necessarily remember where I started because I kind of got caught up in the moment there. But you can definitely punch your way out of whatever rock bottom you're in. And you're not an imposter. You're wherever you're at, whether it's rock bottom or the president's suite. I can't think of the pendulum swinging harder one direction or another there. It's where you're supposed to be. So if you're not happy with that, where you're currently at, that's on you. It's called accountability. It's why I stay so frustrated with the people of Jackson. Now I remember where I was going with this before we take our break here. You know, I'm not afraid to tell you my story about being at rock bottom and understanding where I was at and how bad of a situation I had found myself in. And if I could tell that story and it helps anybody, I'll tell it 1 million more times in hopes of helping one person. A lot of these people in Jackson that are always looking for a way to take their shots at me. Oh, he's a recovering addict. I don't necessarily even consider myself a recovering addict. Drugs are something I did, for a while. I was an addict, but that was so long ago. I don't even know that I don't consider myself in recovery anymore. But that's just me. Everybody looks at that differently. That was a season in my life that is long, long gone. There's a season that doesn't exist anymore. But I find it funny that they often try to throw that in my face like I'm ashamed of it. I mean, obviously I would have rather not done that, like I think anybody. But they act like if you once did anything, you're never allowed to talk about anybody else doing dumb. No, you used to do drugs. You can't talk about people doing drugs. Yes, I can. You used to own nightclubs. You was a part of the problem. Okay, so you're telling me clubs are a part of the problem. I just want to understand what the problem is. And if you ever ran a legitimate legal business in Jackson, you're part of the problem. See, there's a difference in running a legitimate legal business and running a legitimate business the wrong way. The way a lot of these clubs in Jackson are being ran. They're being ran by dope boys the wrong way. I don't know what's going on there at the old fire location on State Street and the Mexican restaurant in front of it and the bar beside it. But there's video every week on this weirdo's Instagram. Another funny thing. They post these videos of all these fights out there and Capitol Police having to come out there I think it's Monday nights they do something there. And it's just absolute brawls. People going to the hospital, getting beat up, all this stuff. And everybody in the comments, because it's a black guy that posts them, you know. Little ghetto dude posts them. And everybody loves it. Oh, they're all up in the comments. Ah, look at him. Nah, 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 nah. I post that same video. Why you only posting stuff about black people? Why don't you post stuff about your people? Well, why don't y'all ask that same guy that posts all them fight videos from in Jackson and all that crap y'all be doing in Jackson that's black? Ask him that. Why you only post about black people? Why don't you go show some white people doing that? There's a bunch of hypocrites. You're not serious people, and Clay Edwards don't take you serious. Until y'all can turn that mirror around and look at yourself in it and realize that you got a problem, don't expect me to take the foot off the gas. I was able to address my problems and correct them. And I'm not afraid to talk about them. Jackson got a long way to go. What do they say about addiction? First, you got to admit that you got a problem. These folks ain't even ready to admit they got a problem. They just don't like you talking about their problem. Let's take a break real quick. We're going to talk about, you want to know how corrupt the mayor of Jackson is? He turned down some money because he wasn't going to have control over it. Turned down some money from the state because he wasn't going to have control over it. Also, another legendary business. Well, the legendary business has been gone, but the building that it once was housed in that still has the same type of business is now going out of business, leaving a huge, huge gaping hole in the grocery store business right in the heart of Jackson. I'm going to tell you about that and more. Welcome to the most incendiary show on the radio and the internet. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. Hit subscribe if you're watching online. If you're on the radio, rip the knob off. Let's get the day started here on WYAB. The phone line, Mazda of Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. If you want to shoot a text in, the Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. If you're watching online, drop a comment. We'll get to them here at some point. You got me flying solo for 2 hours this morning. Buckle up. We'll be right back. Back into the Clay Edwards Show live on WYAB, streaming worldwide at all the places we always talk about, Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, X, YouTube. Yeah, that's it. Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble. I felt like something was missing there. We're not on Instagram or TikTok this morning. All right, this segment brought to you by Guns and Gear, Highway 51 North, Gluckstadt, Mississippi. Swing by, check them out in person. Buy yourself a new gun. Man, I talked about a gun that I saw in there the other day that I thought was just awesome. I shared. Then they ended up posting a picture of it. I don't know if it had anything to do with me talking about it, but boom, they got it posted. It's a Rock Island VR80 12 gauge with interchangeable chokes. I mean, this thing is a 12 gauge. It looks like a Vector almost. Meets an AR-15. It's just a cool gun. I may trade my 12 gauge, my tactical 12 gauge in on this. This thing looks awesome. It's got a magazine. It's a 12 gauge with a magazine. Come on down, young son. Come on down. F around and find out what this. I mean, a gun like this has one purpose: to put holes in bad guys. Period. To A gun like this is what puts bad guys airbrushed on shirts with wings behind them. And their mama's having to start a GoFundMe. And what else is it that they do? Oh, release birds. White doves. A gun like this calls all that. And that's all good stuff. That is all good stuff. When the bad guy's mama has to get them airbrushed on a shirt with the wings on the back. Oh, man, I love it. I love it. There's some protests in the streets because they're mad. My baby boy wasn't doing nothing. He wasn't going to hurt nobody. He just wanted some money. He just wanted to take everything of yours. He just wanted to hurt you, but he wasn't going to do nothing. Why you have to kill him? Because I wanted to. That's why. Anyway, I ain't telling you what to do. I ain't telling you what to do with your guns. I'm just saying, if you like guns, this one's badass, and it's available at Guns and Gear, Gluckstadt, Mississippi, Highway 51 North. I mean, go shoot beer bottles with it for all I care. I'm just saying. But that's what I would do if I had to. If I had to. Like if you came up in my crib, came up in my space, that's how this would all end. It's the VR80. Let me make sure I got that right again. Yeah. It's a Rock Island VR80. I'm gonna save this picture here, and I'm going to put it on my X account, too. This thing is, I'm surprised Facebook ain't took this down. I can't believe they've allowed this to stay up. This thing is awesome. It's only $500. I mean, I may be off $1 or $2, but roughly $500. Anyway, brand new website, gunsandgear.co. Guns in, the letter N, gear.co. Proud sponsors of the Guns and Gear text line. They are. They're very proud of it. He told me. He said, Clay, we're a proud sponsor of the Guns and Gear text line. I'm messing around. Thank you, Hunter. Somebody texted in on the Guns and Gear text line and asked the question, how many people got shot outside your nightclubs? 0. Something I'm very proud of. Nobody ever got shot inside or outside my nightclubs. Now, outside, when you have a club in downtown Jackson, I'm not saying that I didn't hear gunshots out there. That would be a lie. I have, in fact, heard gunshots out there because, you do that long enough, you learn how to do the belt buckle crawl. I'd be standing outside. Now, this was Jackson. I can't control what's going on in downtown Jackson. I don't know that it was my customers that were shooting guns. Freelines is right around the corner. They've had more people killed out there than we ever did. The Birdland was right around the corner on Fair Street. Lots of people killed there. The Birdland got a body count, son. So I'm not going to name the name of the current business there. I don't want to, put no negative light on them. But if you know where it was, you know what's there now. Anyway. But I learned how to throw my feet out from under me real quick and hit that pavement. I tell you what, you throw your feet out from under you so quick, my chest and shoulders would hit the ground before my midsection and my knees would hit the ground. But nobody ever got shot, stabbed. We had some butt whoopings now. We had some fights. In fact, we did. Plenty of fights. But no shooting. We had good security. Real good security. Let me read the second part of that text there. It says, I don't mean that as a smart butt question either. The answer could show the difference between a legitimate nightclub and some that are open in Jackson. Yeah, I mean, look, you got to spend a lot of money on security. And you got to hire the right security to do it. You don't do bouncers. You got to hire real security, folks that know what they're doing, law enforcement, military guys, and you got to pay them right, and they got to be armed. I mean, you got to have some dudes that you pay good. I mean, we paid our guys good. I mean, most of those dudes made a couple $100 a night or more. I mean, we spent a lot of money. Security was my biggest expense as far as like fixed expenses that there wasn't no ROI on. But there's ROI, but you know what I mean? Outside of beer and liquor and food It was my biggest expense. I spent way more on security than I did rent and insurance and everything else. But we also had a 10-year run in downtown Jackson. That's why I chuckle when some of these idiots say, oh, you're a failed club owner. Well, I ran a very successful club in one location for 10 years. I mean, it ran its course. I don't know if that means I was a failed club owner. A lot of y'all are failed rappers. Never wases. Never will be's. You a failed club owner. I don't know what's failure when you were successful for 10 years. Did it end the way I wanted it to? No. I mean, does anybody's business end the way they want it to? Does that mean they're a failure? You do something for 10 years. I think you had a pretty good run. But again, that's the same community that won't take any accountability for being the murder capital of the world, America, whatever. If you're the murder capital of America, you're the murder capital of the world as far as I'm concerned. 3 out of the last 4 years. I stumbled across a video, and we got to take a break here in a second because I ran over bigly that first segment, and we're going to talk about what I'm just going to tell y'all. The former Jitney Jungle in Belhaven's closing. That I don't like doing teases, but even all them white folks in Belhaven couldn't keep the food depot open. Couldn't keep the food depot open because they all going to shopping up there in Fondren at that grocery store is why. You put a discount grocery store in the middle of the most frou-frou area in town. It ain't gonna do good. You put a food depot in Belhaven. You put like a Sullivan's in Belhaven or something like that. Whole Foods. That would work way better. And that's also where a lot of those people are going. It's like Whole Foods and all that. But anyway, that was the tease there. The business that's going out of business or shutting down. I guess they're failures too. So I love these black folks. They love to throw that at me. Oh, you're a failed club owner. What have you ever done? There was this guy that was bashing me the other day about something. He was the one that, and I'm not going to mention his name because I ain't going to shine any light on him. But he was the one that tried to say that Rankin County had more pedophiles on the sex offenders watch list than Jackson, and had to tune him up pretty quick on that. Yeah, man, even the sexual offenders are scared to live in Jackson. Anyway, but I stumbled across a YouTube video this guy did, an interview. He's a 50-year-old dude that still thinks he's a rapper. Dressed like Barney, rolling a blunt on video. I mean, look, I ain't got no problem people smoking weed, whatever, but, you're just trying to portray an image. Three 50-year-old black guys trying to dress like they're 20 years old. Again, one of them looked like Barney, a bunch of all this purple nonsense on. I felt sorry for these guys. They were on a sound stage. They weren't even in the hood. They were on a fake set built to look like a front porch in the ghetto. And they brag and they say I post a lot of lies. I don't post any lies. You can call me a lot of things. You can't call me a liar. A buddy of mine texted me yesterday. He said, man, never forget they call you a racist, but they can't call you a liar. I was like, great point. Great point. Shout out to Gary for that. Yeah, they call you a racist, but they ain't never called you a liar. But this one particular guy, they like to say, Clay posts all these lies. No, you don't like the truth. Anyway, they mad because I post all the statistics about Jackson and the crime and the fact that these folks that live in Jackson got a tenacity for killing one another. I mean, it is sport over there. But see, they get mad at me when I say it. But here's these same guys, and if there wasn't so many cuss words in this thing, I'd play it and we would make fun of them this morning. They got these dumbass nicknames they call each other. Well, Mr. 6 a.m. That was it. That was the guy. I guess I'm gonna give him a little shout out. This Mr. 6 a.m. They get on there and they brag about Jackson being the murder capital of America. Like, in the hip hop community and the black community, it's like a badge of honor. The more violent that it is, the more ghetto that it is, it's like a badge of honor for some of these folks. Not everybody. But all you gotta do is listen to the music. I mean, They glorify it. And he's like, they refer to their own younger generation, this is their words, not mine, as YNs. Like it's a whole thing online. Like, yeah, man, these YNs, they out there doing it for sport. They just kill them for sport. Oh, that's weird. I've been saying that. There's a bunch of crash test dummies out here. But when y'all say it, it's like a badge of honor. It's okay. You're bragging about it. Like, yeah, my hood's harder. No, your hood's dumber. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about the mayor. Again, to the Clay Edwards Show. It's going to be a short segment here, about 5 minutes. I'll take another break. I ran over bad those first two segments, running my mouth. Real quick, the segment brought to you by our friends over at Stonington Farm. They're going to be up here next Friday, the 7th. Get some of that grass-fed beef, and they've even got beef tallow now. Grass-fed beef tallow. So check that out. Experience the grass-fed difference. mRNA-free, antibiotic-free, steroid-free, Mississippi-raised, grass-fed, and grass-finished. Very important there, grass-finished beef. So good. Y'all know it. I love the ground beef. It's some of the best beef I've ever had in my life. Check them out. We'll talk more about it here, but I just wanted to give them a quick plug. Stonington Farm. Got that beef tallow now. That's so popular. Shout out to my boy Jason Odom. He brought me a jug of it by a mason jar by the other day after I talked about it on the radio show with the ladies from Mississippi Parents for Vaccine Rights. We were talking about eating healthy. He brought a jug by, and I used it to I was frying some eggs or making like an egg, I call it like a scrambled egg omelet. I put some of that in there. Man, so good. So good. If you ain't cooking with beef tallow, you don't know what you're missing. And they got it now available at stoningtonfarm.com. 2 N's. All right, let's see here. Man, I got on a rant there, didn't I? So the grocery store is leaving Belhaven. Belhaven's getting some wins, but they are getting some losses at the same time. They got some cool little bars and stuff over there, some fancy little restaurants. I ain't got nothing negative to say about any of those places. Really fun. I had a really, really good experience last time I was over in that area back over the summer. I had a really good time. But, Finian's is closed. Now, again, they closed because they didn't update the place. They didn't reinvest. Nothing visibly anyway. And a particular crowd of studs overtook it, and that runs a lot of people off. Believe it or not, a lot of folks don't want to hang out with studs. That's just fact, Jack. I'm just telling y'all. So that happened, and now the grocery store, the old Jitney across the street, the Food Depot closing. And somebody texts in and says, I'm quite sure the vagrants and a.k.a. shrinkage, shoplifting, played a huge part in that store closing. Absolutely. Played a huge part in that store closing. I mean, I've talked to multiple people who don't want to go over there anymore because of the vagrants. And Jackson, Belhaven, and Fondren are so weird. They don't like the people over there, they don't like the vagrants, but they don't like you talking about them either. But no, you can't talk about them. You don't know their situation. This is where I get conflicted, because I do have a heart, believe it or not, behind this cold black shirt. With this FAFO shirt that's available at buyfafo.com right now for only $20. I do have a heart back there. And that's why, I try to do stuff with our lovely friends over at Shower Power, who do great work, trying to, do what they can for the homeless, which does in turn help you guys that are having to deal with it downtown. They're helping them, they give them their needs. Maybe they're not, bothering you as much. I mean, at the end of the day, it's an issue. We all know it's a problem. But you got to tell them, I almost said a word there, didn't I? You got to tell somebody every now and then, get away from me. Get out of here. You're bad for business. Scram. Yeah. But when you do that over in Fondren and Belhaven, they're like, no, You can't do that. You don't know his situation. What if that was you? Imposter syndrome, baby. That ain't me. Anyway, it goes back to what I said. You got to know you got a problem, and you got to address the problem. Vagrants running businesses out of here. I'm just going to tell you, people can act all tough and pretend they got a big old heart and pretend that they love we love our vagrants here in fun. Just like Chokwe loves his criminals, how Jacksonians love their thugs. White liberals love their vagrants. They just do. It's their virtue signal. It's, let me put the record button on and let me show you seeing me give them some money. And they use it to virtue signal with. Like, no, we take better care of our vagrants here than you guys do. Okay. But they tell you all that, but they still don't go to that grocery store. Where they at? They run their butts up to Fondren. So now what they got is a big empty building in the middle of their neighborhood. They're going to have homeless folks living in it in about 2.3 seconds. Building little fires in there. Maybe it's warm enough outside they won't have to build any fires in there. We got to take a break real quick. I'm going to stay with the online audience so y'all ain't got to stare at the screen of death. Radio, be patient with me this morning. We're going to get it right. We're going to get it right. We're going to be right back. 103.9 FM, WYAB. This is the Clay Edwards Show. All right, guys, let's check out some of these comments here. Let's do this. Let's move the comments to the screen. I got to get this overlay redone. These big sides on it blot the dang comments. Very aggravating. Very aggravating. There we go. Let's see. Miss Sylvia says, still, Jackson is the capital, and it should have better standards. I don't even know what we was talking about, but I agree. It should. Derek says, I think you're biased. I don't think you're directly racist, but you definitely have a lot of racial bias in your commentary and show. There are plenty of hood and ghetto white people that do some of the same things that hood and ghetto black people do. Well, where? Where are they doing that at? You know, where are they doing that at? That'd be my question. I'm not saying they don't, but we're talking about Jackson. You know, Jackson is overrun with it. That's the problem. Yes, there's white trash that do dumb things. Absolutely. Nobody ever says there's not. But they're not such a problem anywhere that they've crippled an entire city. I mean, and frankly, the only time I really talk about black folks is y'all's reaction to me talking about ghetto and hood rats and criminals. Because I don't specifically go out of my way and say, these black criminals. I talk about people doing hood rat trash. And that can absolutely be white, black, and other. It doesn't have to be black people. Y'all are the ones that tell me it's black people with your reaction to me talking about it. I mean, I just talk like y'all do. I mean, I grew up there. I lived there for 43 years. I've only been gone 3 years now. Maybe 4. Yeah, March will be 4 years. Yeah, I moved at 21. March of 21. Gosh. It's like a lifetime ago. You know, so I wasn't a part of the problem, but what I realized is there is no solution. There ain't no solution. If you're a white conservative in Hinds County or Jackson, you're not going to fix anything. They don't want your solution. It doesn't fit what they do. It don't work. It ain't for them. They don't want your solution. If you're a white conservative in Hinds County and you think you're going to make any kind of difference, you think you're going to wake some people up and they're going to start doing things the right way, that is a lost cause, my friends. You're going to have to figure out a way to you're not going to make a difference. You're going to have to move. I'm just telling you. They don't want to be fixed. Dredd chimed in and said Robin Hood. Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. Robin Hood is just a neighborhood. Like, we all know Robin Hood's out there. But Robin Hood ain't a boat anchor around Brandon's neck. Like, Brandon is very successful with or without Robin Hood. And Robin Hood's outside the city limits. It ain't even part of Brandon. It's just not, it just is what it is. All right, about to come back from this break real quick. I'm staying online. Y'all don't go anywhere. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. We're live here on the radio, 103.9 FM WYAB. Chip Matthews chimed in on the text, on the Guns and Gear text line. He says, Dollar General should open up there in the grocery store, in the old Jitney. I agree. Put a Dollar General there. You know what? Put one of them hair places, like over there in the old Toys R Us on Highway 80. One of them hair care places that sell all the hair supplies. I think that'd be real good right in there. I think we ought to put something there just to agitate the white liberals. Let's think of some things on the other side of the break here. We'll be right back. What should we put there in the old Jitney Jungle in Belhaven just to agitate the white liberal? What are some things? A Planet Fitness? Oh, yeah. Planet Fitness for show. What are some virtue signaling things that the white liberal will hate that they'll have to pretend they like? I'm curious. Y'all drop some ideas in the comments. What should we put or champion for being put in the old Jitney Jungle? I mean, what it should be is the Capitol Police substation with a jail is what it should be. And if you gave those white liberals over there some truth serum, that's what they would tell you too. But they ain't going to do that. Like, we need to put something there that's going to draw a lot of the element that the white liberal really doesn't want to be around, but they pretend they do. Let's put a homeless shelter there. Let's turn it. Oh, that's it. That's it. A homeless shelter. They love saying turn everything into a homeless shelter. All right, let's put it in your neighborhood, dog. But that move the stew pot over there. Move shower power to the Jitney, the old Jitney. Let's see how much they love that turn it into a see if they keep that same energy. Turn it into a homeless shelter. All right, let's put it in your neighborhood. Oh, we're gonna talk about that when we come back from radio. Well, the radio audience needs to hear that one. Pat myself on the back. Good job, Clay. You made a funny today, dog. Everinium says Jasco corporate headquarters. Absolutely. Al Davis says drug treatment center. Well, you need it in Belhaven. There's a lot of active drug use over there in the Belhaven, and especially the Belhaven Heights area. Lot of active hardcore drug use going on over there. A lot of that's where the addicts from Rankin County moved to in Madison. your jam band listening to addicts, that kind of addict, your white addicts. They all moved to Belhaven Heights, that area. Those cheap apartments over there. They do. I'm just telling y'all. I made a post on Facebook the other day. You know, one thing about Brandon and Rankin County in general, Pearl being so successful, there's no out-of-business gas stations. And we ain't got no real detail shops. But what happened to those old school $40 detail shops? There's only one in Pearl that I was reminded of. Man, I love like an out-of-business gas station, or just got a car wash on the side that they've converted into like just a quick wash, a quick detail. I don't need all that stuff like I used to do. I don't need ceramic coating and all that. I just need a car wash, but not a drive-through either. I need a hand wash. All right, we're getting ready to come back from break here. I got to shut up so I don't bleed over. Y'all don't go nowhere. Boom goes the dynamite. We're back. It's hour 2 of the most incendiary show on the radio. I promise to keep the schedule right this hour. Clay, I'm like Bart Simpson writing on the chalkboard. Do not run over. Do not run over. Do not run over. We will take our breaks at 20, 35, and 52, I promise. 20, 35, and 52. The Mazda Jackson phone line. Somebody tried calling during the break. Y'all know the rules. I don't answer the phone during the break. 601-879-0002. If you want to have a conversation, let's have it on the air. 601-879-0002. The question of the day is with the former Jitney Jungle, the legendary Jitney 14 or whatever it was. So many pictures of it floating around. It's one of the few OG buildings still being used for what it was built to be. With the food depot closing over there, what should we have put there that would agitate the white liberal more than anything? Because they pretend to be so compassionate and caring and how much they love black people. Oh, yeah, we love them. What should we put over there to really test them? They love their homeless folks, too. They just don't want them that close to them. What should we turn it into a homeless shelter? A hair supply? Like a Sally's type place where they sell all the hair and all that stuff. What should we put in that location that would agitate and absolutely not benefit the Belhaven white liberal more than anything else? That is the question of the day. Let's test their compassion. What should we move to the old Jitney? The Guns and Gear text line, if you prefer not call, is 769-241-1944. Those are my questions. We had some good answers. Chip Matthews texted in and said a Dollar General. Speaking of Chip, man, y'all keep Chip in your prayers. He's having a procedure done today. I don't want to put all his business out there, but keep Chip in your prayers today. He's having something done. Pretty serious deal. Get out more than I know Chip Matthews about as well as I know anybody on earth after 30 plus years of friendship and being best friends and frenemies over the years. Hold your prayers. Go spend some money at Acme Pizza and Daiquiris tonight, and that will help Chip rest easy. Get out there and order some pizza, pasta, a good burger from Acme Pizza and Daiquiri. Get some daiquiris to go. Out there at Fannin Mart on the reservoir. And it is some good pizza. It really is. Get over there and try it out tonight. And keep Chip in your prayers. But like I said, he'd probably say if you got to pick, spend some money with him or say a prayer for him, Chip's probably gonna pick the money. I'm just gonna be honest. And I think that's most people if they're being honest. Anyway, Acme Pizza and Daiquiri's proud sponsor of the Clay Edwards Show since day one. Not day one of the Clay Edwards Show, but day one of Acme Pizza and Daiquiri's. They've been on the show since they opened. So thank you to Chip. And congratulations to him on his radio show and everything he's doing. But Chip said put a Dollar General there. Like, you know, like I think we have a love-hate relationship with the DG in Mississippi, don't we? It's just an absolute love-hate relationship. I love the convenience of running in a DG, but they're really not that convenient. The people that work the work, first off, the self-checkout never works, at least the one by my house. And there's never more than maybe 2 employees in the whole thing, and they're always stocking, which that's their job. I get it. I'm not hating. But, man, it takes forever. If you get behind 3 or 4 people in line at DG, it takes forever to check out at the Dollar General. Like, if you can put me in charge of Dollar General for one day, we're going to refocus on getting more people at the checkout. But also, you got a lot of people who treat the Dollar General like it's Sam's Club or then grocery store, too. And they go get a whole buggy full of stuff. Stop that. You go in Dollar General to get 2 or 3 things. Quit getting a whole buggy full of stuff. That is not the purpose of the Dollar General. You could go to the Kroger's. Yes, I know I said it wrong intentionally. Go to the Kroger's if you're going to do that. And I'm only telling you to do that because as much as I would love for y'all to support the other locally owned grocery stores, I like kind of having the places to myself a little bit, whether it be Allen's Supermarket, Ramey's in downtown Brandon, or Fairway Foods down in Pillahatchee, or with the other one in Morton. I like having them kind of to myself a little bit. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. Support your local grocery stores. Otherwise, they'll be like Food Depot and going out of business. Let's check out some texts on the Guns and Gear text line. Jason says, put a 2-gun tactical in the grocery store. Yeah, those white liberals hate guns. They claim to hate guns, don't they? Like white liberals are the only Democrats that really don't want guns. I find that funny. Like, they think they speak for black folks. Like, I ain't never met a black person that thought guns should be banned. That is strictly a white liberal stance. But that goes exactly what we talk about on this show. Like, they think they know what's better for everybody. I've never met a minority of any persuasion that thought guns should be banned. That is strictly gay white men of the Democrat persuasion and angry, unattractive, white liberal women that think guns should be banned. So, yeah, I like a gun store with mainly an indoor shooting range. Look, I fully support. We could start a scholarship fund at 2-Gun Tactical to send these little young Jacksonians to learn how to shoot. Like, I think they should, like, buy memberships. Like, I've been saying it for a long time. I'm sure y'all can go back and find it. I said it over the weekend to somebody, and they looked like I had 3 heads. They were having such a serious conversation about something, and I spat this out at them. And they were like, what? I said, I think they should put marksmanship classes in elementary and middle school in JPS. So at least when these little young Jacksonians are getting out in the streets and terrorizing everybody, because of future rocket scientists and engineers, of course, at least they can shoot the intended target. Because they've got a really, really bad record at actually shooting the person they're intending to shoot. And I think we can fix that. Under a Kim Wade administration, I would like to see marksmanship classes put back in JPS. But you're going to have to do it in the lower elementary and middle schools. I mean, by the time they get to high school, they need to be ready, because that's that age group that's doing the most terrorizing in Jackson, is the high school age, 14 to 17. They're the ones doing all the killing around here. So we got to get that marksmanship in there early. Let them use it towards a college credit if they make it to college. That's fine. Let's take a call, shall we? Good morning, you're on there.
Morning, Knucklehead. How we doing?
Oh, we're doing good. How are you?
Driving to Mandeville.
King cake time.
King cake time.
Yeah.
Last time. Tuesday is the big day. But I got an idea what you can put in that old jitney.
All right.
Take that, that Taste restaurant over there in over off of State Street by Meadowbrook. It's almost in the neighborhood. Causing a lot of problems over there. Move it over there. They're going to love having those after-hours bars at 2 and 3 in the morning, all the noise and hoopla that goes on. Oh, without a permit, by the way. But city lets them do it anyway.
Yeah, all you gotta do is no chalkway.
Bring that ghetto culture over here. Oh, yeah. Oh, they've had, over in that neighborhood, we're talking about like the Broadmoor area, I think, Normandy, Manila, those Kings Highway, that area between Meadowbrook and Northside. They've been having major problems with them, especially on, football weekends when they'll have, after-hours events, even though they're just a restaurant. I'm talking like they'll park all up and down the neighborhood, 2 or 3 in the morning. They leave finally. Of course, they have their, post-bar drama and all that crap, so they'll love having that in Belhaven.
I think I put a stage in there and let start doing rap concerts.
They've probably done it inside, actually, if you want the truth.
Oh, I know. I put it inside, yeah.
Yeah, but no, the neighborhood, they've been raising Cain about it. Doesn't do any good. These people know somebody downtown. Doesn't do any good.
No, it's phenomenal how many bars are operating illegally in Jackson. I mean, that one on Lynch Street that they just shut down.
You know what really sucks about this place closing? They had the best damn deli in town. I'm not joking, man. I tell you what, you get a chance, go by there Thursday, get some of that chicken pot pie. It is delicious. I'm not kidding. Their catfish on Fridays was delicious, too.
They, look, not just them, but that is one of the great things. Why we're all so fat, or why so many people are fat down here, is because you can wander in any grocery store or gas station and get the best plate lunch you've ever had. Or fried chicken, or barbecue.
They actually season their food. They'll cook it in bacon and garlic and butter and stuff. You go to Kroger, it's for the 70, 80-year-old crowd who complains that they have 2 grains of salt on their food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't mean the chain. I don't mean the franchise ones. I mean the locally owned, the small ones. The Vials.
Oh, yeah.
The Vials out in Byram had the best plate lunch I ever had. When I used to live out that way, I'd go $5.99 and get about 3 pounds worth of food, just breaking the plate. And it was all really, really good, well seasoned.
Well, one problem I noticed over the years at that grocery store, the bums are going to come around, but they would not just consistently run them off. They would let them hang around outside right by the front door. Now, dude like me or you, we don't care about. We'll just say, buddy, just leave me alone, get lost, or just give them a look. Usually a look does it,
Yeah. Like, I ain't the one.
When they try to bug you. But if you're like elderly, you're like an older lady, say 70 years old, or you got little kids with you, you ain't too sure about that,
Well, they prey on that in young women.
Yeah,
and effeminate men.
Well, when Corner Market took the place over, it was actually an improvement. They brightened the place up, cleaned it up, took all the crap out of the aisles, all the displays and stuff. It was actually a lot nicer. And they mustn't have had the sales they wanted because they downgraded, same company, they downgraded it to basically cheaper offerings, and that didn't work apparently. So,
Yeah, they prey off some.
I've shopped there a lot over the years.
They prey off old folks, young women, and a couple of those white guys that are running for Ward 7 council person.
Now the Lou's didn't move out because of all that. The Lou's, he had a lease coming up at one of his 2, at that place, I think, one of his 2 restaurants, and so it was like it was better. He figured it was better for him to take this and just go to his other site in Belhaven, not renew the lease.
Yeah, I remember us talking about that. Yeah, he had to pick his poison a little bit.
Have you talked about the mayor's thing at Dueling Hall Saturday?
No, I tell you, I got to take a break. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm doing anything for another 2 hours.
All right, stay on hold. We got Kingfish with Jackson Jambalaya on the Mazda Jackson phone line. We're going to take a break. We're staying on schedule. Kingfish don't go nowhere. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show, talking a little Jackson mayor race. I want to get Kingfish's take on the mayor turning down this money to clean up blighted properties because he wasn't going to have control over how it was spent. Just like the water money. If they don't have control over it, they don't want it. That should tell you all you need to know. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you. Just heard the commercial for Burgers, Blues, Barbecue. I snuck in there yesterday evening before my big podcast last night at the house, big live stream, and I got some of their smoked Nashville hot wings. I've been to the gym and went and rucked for about 1.5 miles out on the trails there, and your boy was hungry. And I did not have any intention on having to cook last night, so I snuck in there, stood at the bar real quick, smashed some Nashville hot wings, ended up having a great conversation with some folks. Shout out to Jordan and the other folks that were in there that I met last night. But swing by there today. Maybe the plate lunch ain't your thing. Today's Wednesday, so you just have hamburger steak and red beans and rice. The sausage is the blue plate special of the day at all 3 locations, Flowood, Brandon, downtown Brandon, and Madison. But, man, I'm telling you what, they're Nashville hot wings, when they're fresh, because they're smoked or whatever. Anyway, when they're right, which they're always right, I don't know why I said it like that, I'll put them up against anybody's. They're as good as they get if you like wings, and the ranch is homemade. That makes all the difference in the world. You can have the best wings, but if you're pouring that ranch out of a jug that you already bought, creamy ranch or something like that, just throw it all away. If you ain't making your ranch, I don't want it. I don't want anything that I need to ranch on. I'm out. If you can't take the extra step to make homemade ranch as a restaurant, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. It's so simple. Anyway, burgersblues.com. And don't forget B3 Catering for all of your events from 5 to 5,000 people. Holler at Taylor over there at B3 Catering. They can do anything. Your imagination is the only limitations to the menu and the design. They can do it all, from lunch for the office to weddings to corporate events. They got you covered. All right, man, let's go back to the Mazda Jackson phone line. We got Kingfish on there. Kingfish, real quick, before we jump into the mayor face-off.
Hey, real quick, me too. The tater tots over there are outstanding. If you're getting a burger, skip the fries, get the tater tots.
Well, look, I love their fries.
They are delicious.
They're hand cut also, but yeah, the tater tots at Burgers Blues are phenomenal. All right, before we jump into the mayor face-off thing from Saturday, which I've heard good stuff about.
The mayoral melee.
Yes.
Mayoral mayhem.
Mayhem.
How many alliterations can we get here? Go ahead.
Well, let's circle back to this other thing though. The mayor rejecting millions of dollars to clean up dilapidated properties because he was not going to have control over it. Have you had a chance to look at this?
No, I haven't. I'm going to try to do some digging while I'm on the road today, make some phone calls, and find out what exactly is going on. I got a feeling there's a something else here going on.
Well, I've got the WLBT article.
I saw the story.
Well, let's do this real quick. It's only about a minute. I want to play it for our listeners just to get everybody caught up real quick, and then I want to take a little dive into it while I got you on the phone.
All right.
All right, hold on. I got to cue it up here and hit play. Give me 1 second. I'm almost there. All right, here we go. This is WLBT on the mayor turning down millions of dollars, according to Michael Watson, of all people.
Jackson has many causes, from owners abandoning their homes after they were damaged to failure to pay taxes. It results in many vacant properties ending up in state possession. Rosalynn Anderson speaks with the Secretary of State and Jackson's mayor in tonight's edition of Fight the Blight. Roz?
The state and city are at odds over how blight got out of control in the capital city and how it should be remedied. Not far from main thoroughfares of the city, a turn can lead you to rows of burned and abandoned houses. While they sit in the city, many are state-owned.
Across the state, about 7,000, roughly. Hines County, 2,100, and then down into Jackson, about 1,900.
Secretary of State Michael Watson says most of them are forfeited land that ends up in state possession when someone fails to pay the taxes. He says there was funding for upkeep.
It's been a recurring issue. Several years ago, we had upwards of 13 million, I think, roughly in that area for properties in the city of Jackson. And we tried to work with the city of Jackson. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, Jackson said no. And then, if you want to get to the nuts and bolts of it, it was about control.
That is patently false. That is inaccurate.
Jackson Mayor Chokwe A. Lumumba says that funding to clear and maintain state-owned properties was not enough for administrative costs, like clearing titles, and required the use of blight partners.
Those blight partners did not find it advantageous. They thought that they were losing too much money on the administrative
I wonder if
costs.
by blight partners he means white partners.
At no point in time could anybody point you to any communication that suggests that the city wanted to control the funds.
Another issue the Secretary of State points to is the lack of Jackson Code enforcement officers.
Last I heard, I think there were about 3, which is understaffed. And so when you look at that problem as a whole, it starts at the bottom.
According to the city, there are now 14 code enforcement officers with 7 in community improvement.
It's not so much that we have a lack of officers that can bring cases. It's the fact that, there are so many gaps within the process that when cases are brought, they often linger in the courts for a long period of time.
All right, that's enough of that. Kingfish, what do you think?
The funny part is those code enforcement officers, their cases go to where? Environmental court. Who runs environmental court? City of Jackson. Now, who's in charge of? Who are the 2 judges? I think Judge Clay is one of them. Judge Reynolds is the other. And trust me, they move their dockets along, okay? So all this crap about getting hung up in environmental court is just that crap. Sometimes they'll appeal to county court. Sometimes. But his 2 judges over there are moving I watch those dockets on environmental cases. They move them along pretty good. Now, if they weren't, hey, he can replace them with some who will. So that's back on him, if what he's saying is true. And the key part of him is, if true.
Well, the second he said that it was patently false, I knew he was lying.
Standard response for everything. He's the master of denial.
All right, so I'm looking forward to you peeling the onion back on that and at some point today or in the next couple of days and giving us an update on what you feel like really happened there. Because I tend to lean with
bureaucrat programs. You got to dig into the details on to see what's really going on.
Yep. All right, so let's circle back to the mayoral melee down at Dueling Hall over the weekend where all the mayor candidates faced off against each other. I've heard rave reviews for the most part, even from you and Shaun. So tell us about it.
I've had a couple days to think about it. For the most part, it went all right. It was run by Jackson for Jacksonians, kind of a Northeast Jackson, Belhaven, Fondren, group interested in improving Jackson.
Charlotte Reed was involved in that somehow or another.
First part was they gave everybody like your 3 minutes or so to state your platform. So the first hour is basically everybody, tooting about themselves, Mm-hmm. What was interesting, though, was how many of them, like Tim Henderson, Hopkins, and these others, would just say the same thing, which is, I've been helping the young. I've been helping the elderly. Okay, great. What are you going to do for Jackson? One thing, hardly anybody, you've got a mayor with this record. I mean, go through all of it, water, sewer, crime, you name it. Hardly anybody said anything about him. I remember when Frank was running against Harvey, man, he tore him up every chance he got, just ridiculed him in his record. You didn't see anybody even doing that this time around. Then they moved to the second part, which was where they allowed each candidate to ask another candidate a question and a follow-up question. And that got a little interesting. What was interesting was there's been rumors on the street. The street committee has been saying that some of these cats were paid to get in the race and start shooting at John Horn because he's seen as the biggest threat to Lumumba. And I'm not going to name any names who's supposedly doing that. But sure was interesting how, a couple of them got up there and asked the mayor questions, but they were more like softball questions that would allow him to just run his trap for about the full 3 or 4 minutes, and just, promote himself. It was, what I'm saying? It's like they were just throwing him a nice softball down the middle so he could hit a home run. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So anyway, and then the other ones, they were hitting on John Horn. David L. Archie went after John Horn. A couple of others went after John Horn. And then the only person who actually attacked the mayor was Marcus Wallace. That's it. I'm surprised Kim Wade didn't really do it. He had a good comeback to the mayor when he said something about your plans. He said, and Kim responded, just go look at the workbook I have. Go look at whatever I have for Jackson. I mean, it can be a workbook for your administration or something like that, Okay, that's good. That was funny. But like I said, nobody's really bringing up the mayor and his record, attacking the record. You got a record you can have a field day with. A real field day with. And like I said, Frank would have gone to town on it. And I don't like Frank, but he would have gone to town on it. And these guys are just like I said. John Horn did better than he beat my expectations, but he gets stuck too long on. I got relationships here and there. He did make some good points where he says the reason why he can't get any help is nobody trusts you, and that is true. Nobody in state or federal government trusts him because while he's talking about I got us $800 million, which he didn't. Cindy Hyde-Smith and Roger Wicker and Benny Thompson did.
I mean,
he didn't.
failing your way to a government bailout is not you getting to take credit for getting $800 million. I mean, but that's what he does.
The thing is, the feds did not, and I'm talking the feds, including the EPA, did not want Jackson in charge of that money because they know what would happen. That's why they wanted a receiver. And make no mistake, Hennefin's a receiver, and they put it under a federal judge, period. Jackson doesn't have that money. The feds do.
Well, and Rakia is trying to get it. She's doing her dangest for her brother.
Oh, she and her peeps have tried mightily. But so that's just what I saw. I didn't really hear from most of them, any specifics on what they would do and how to improve Jackson. I mean, what are you going to do about crime? I mean, what are you going to do? Let me ask you
this.
Huh?
Let me ask you this about John Horn. Or the mayor maybe not getting a lot of hard questions. Do you think that people aren't taking the mayor serious and maybe they don't consider him a real threat? Do you think they're going after – I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Do you think maybe people are going after Horn and the others because they deem them more of a threat? Do you think Chockway's the front runner?
I think they all assume the mayor's going to get the runoff. So some of it might be, okay, I'm trying to get into the runoff. I need to attract the guy who's most likely to get in there so I can knock him off. You know,
who do you think is the front runner right now? Is Chockway the front runner still?
Yeah, I'd say that. You want to know who sounded the best Saturday? Probably Chockway.
He's got the most.
And you got to know your facts. Because he's very good at slipping and sliding and making up this. And he'll make up facts on the fly. He'll just make them up. And you got to know your stuff pretty well and call him out on it. Nobody calls him out on anything. He just went on He just went like the water system Saturday. He went on a grand deal about how he told everybody it was going to fail, this and that. Well, not necessarily. You were hiding that EPA order for over a year, which nobody brought up. Marcus Wallace was the only one to try to hold him accountable. And next time if I was doing one of these, I would not let them go after each other. You really need someone, a moderator who knows how to ask questions and good follow-up questions. That's what you need. I understand why they did it, but you had one too many candidates, and number two is they are limited to one question and a follow-up. So if you had like two people or three people in debate, and that's it, that'd be one thing. But when you have 11, and by the way, the priest didn't show up, you're a minor candidate trying to get exposure. That's kind of your base that you're trying to get. Should have been there.
Well, look, it ought to work like it does on the national stage. It ought to be whoever. Look at the polling if there is any, and let the ones that got a chance at winning do these things, not the bottom feeders just trying to get attention. Yeah. Hold your thought. I got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. I want to hold you for a minute. We'll be right back.
I'm cool.
We'll be right back. Down. Kingfish, Jackson Jambalaya on the Clay Edwards Show here on WYAB. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, this segment brought to you by Ellis Autoplex. Highway 471, Flowood, Mississippi. Get out there and check them out. Today, Little Truck City, they just got the lot repaved. And look, man, I worked there for a year, and there was always this like sinkhole in the middle that the guys would fill, the detail guy or whoever it was at the time would detail these trucks and put all this work into it and get it out on the lot. And one test drive later, somebody would drive through that dang sinkhole and get the freshly cleaned vehicle all dirty. But those days are long gone. Casey reinvesting into the place as fast as he can. It looks phenomenal. I know you're thinking, Clay, it's just a paved lot. What does it matter? Well, if they're worried about that, imagine the effort they put into the recon on the vehicles. You worry about when you take care of the little things, they take care of the big things. That's Ellis Autoplex, Little Truck City. They specialize in four-wheel drives, four-door pickups. And, of course, they have cars and SUVs available, too. And they're now doing major automotive repairs. And this is me talking, not them. they dang specialize in F-150s. If you got an F-150 and you're having any kind of problem with it, especially with these EcoBoost and stuff, which they're good motors, but they got a few things that they're known for, get it over to Ellis and let them get it taken care of for you. Let them get you an estimate on it, get it properly diagnosed, and let them get it rolling for you. They were doing a full cab off thing for somebody the other day. I got some pictures of it. Crazy. EllisAutoplex.com. Shop them online today. Get pre-approved and see what they got. Go see them. Tell them I sent you. We'll be out there soon doing a live remote. So looking forward to that. Got to get that on the books, but I've been promised we're going to do it. So we'll see you soon out there at Ellis Autoplex. All right, let's go back to the Mazda of Jackson phone line. We got Kingfish, Jackson, Jambalaya. Jimmy.
Hey, you said you worked there for a year. Have you ever worked anywhere for more than a year?
Yeah. I've worked at a lot of places more than a year.
Just wondering.
Yep. The place before that, I was there for 3. Hair and Gear Toyota, I was there for 4.
It was a joke. It was a rhetorical question.
I know. Hair and Gear Toyota, I was there for 4. So I like the car business is weird, man. Well, I would still be at Ellis, but I was just burnt out, and I got Casey to fire me. I'm just going to be honest. I went and got myself fired one day, and that's just the truth. And he did me a favor by putting me out of my misery, and we're still friends.
It has burned out a lot of people over the years, yeah.
Yeah, and I went in one week on a kamikaze mission, and I was successful. You know, and I take all the blame. I was a little bitter, even though I did it to myself. I was a little bitter, but I apologized, and you know, they good people out there, and we're still doing business together. But I was burned after 12 years. I'd had enough, you know, and just now some time away, I could do it again now. But man, after 12 years, I was burnt out, just tired of the customers. And when you're tired of the customers, it's time to go. Because if you can't tolerate the silly questions, it's a you problem, not a customer problem. And that's where I was at. So, but yeah. Anyway, good folks out there. Hey, Jimmy, we ate lunch at McBee's yesterday. And we both got the rice, the beef tips and rice. That was good, wasn't it?
That was good. That was definitely good.
And I'm not even a beef tips and rice guy. I was going to just order something off the menu, but I got so tired of hearing how good it was. Okay, I'll try it, man. And Jimmy was like, "You were hungry, weren't you?" I mean, I didn't leave a bite of anything. I had the Mexican cornbread.
I was sitting there halfway through, man. You were already done. I'm like going, and you were doing all the talking.
I know.
I mean, you were devouring that stuff. I'm not kidding.
It was.
So
good.
he also has good beef tips as Martin's.
They do. They do. Martin's.
And they're real steak tips too.
Yeah. So check them all out. Martin's, McBee's, all our great sponsors here on WYAB. Well, all right. So we hit the mayor. Anything else from the mayor's thing you took? You think Chockway's the front runner right now, even with all the chaos?
I would have to say so. I mean, I'd say Horn because we haven't seen any finance reports yet either, and I doubt anybody's going to probably file them because guess what? We don't enforce the law on that, and the law's really weak. So if I was a candidate, I wouldn't file until the very end of this thing, like the mayor did 4 years ago. I wouldn't. I mean, you would think there's any problems when you think about it. Highest crime rate, highest murder rate for 3 years running. Water sewer system literally taken away from you. I mean, you start going through it all. Thalia Mara, this, that, Smith Wills. I mean, you just start going through it. And hardly anybody's attacking him on any of this. Now, one candidate you know, said, well, I don't need to. Everybody knows this already. No, they don't, actually. Maybe in your world they do, but there's a lot of voters out there who don't keep up with this stuff like you and I do. You got to educate them. You got to tell them. And you got to give them a reason to vote for you, but you also got to knock the other guy around a little bit too. And his record is fair. But nobody's really doing that. John Horn did a couple of times. You know, he flat out said they don't trust you. That's right. Follow up with some specific examples why they don't trust you.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he knew how bad the water system was. EPA came in there, and then he kept it hidden for over a year. Nobody dings him on that. Nobody.
It makes you wonder. I just always go back to the garbage thing. That should never be forgotten. There should be a PAC running commercials against him.
And the only person who really talked about it was guess who?
Who?
The mayor. So he got to put his version of it out there. I was trying to get you a cheaper deal. No, the real deal is he was trying to make everybody buy these damn garbage carts. And that was the one consistent thing throughout all of it. We had to do the garbage carts. The bid he says is so much cheaper, garbage carts. They wanted us buying garbage carts.
And they were coming from a place back in Michigan.
Hold on. The same company, Richards, had a bid on the table that was over $1 million cheaper, I think, a year. maybe not a year, but it was over $1 million cheaper than the cart option. So if you're really trying to save us money, go for that one and quit trying to shove carts down our throats. No, somebody somewhere was going to get something on those carts. Had to be.
Well, yeah,
that was the hill they were dying on, but nobody ever brings that up or anything. So the only person giving you a narrative on garbage is, guess who? The mayor. And it's, I'm fighting for you, you know?
Did anybody bring up his charges?
Nope.
That's tough.
Nope.
That's tough.
They're all assuming he knows all this. You know, because even at the mayor, I mean, mayor's saying, we did, and Rakia's saying, we did nothing wrong. Okay, maybe, let's just take your argument. Maybe you didn't do something illegal, but how does it really look when your guys are sitting there going on yachts and strip clubs and this and that and saying, yeah, give my campaign a bunch of money so I can finagle the permit process for you and all this stuff. I mean, because if they're doing it once, they're doing it elsewhere. And nobody says, it doesn't matter if it's legal or not. Is this what you should be doing, period? Is this what we want? No.
It's obvious this was not their first rodeo.
That.
It's obvious this was not their first rodeo. They knew how to do this.
Yeah. Well, if you do it this way, they can't do anything about a campaign contribution. Boy, they sure knew how to do that, didn't they? Mm-hmm. By the way,
he still
hasn't reported on his reports. Those checks he wrote out of his account to himself, they're still not on his finance report. So I got a feeling we're going to see them again in court.
Well, here's the other thing. I just had a complete brain fart. I was about to say something concerning all of that, but yes, I'm going to be shocked to see if any legitimate business or contractor, I guess that'd be a business, donates to him this time around. Fundraising is going to be difficult for him.
Some will, because if they think he's going to win, they will, because they want their permits.
It's going to be very difficult for him. Well, I guess I'm sure
they may give less than they normally give.
Yeah.
Watch for that. But, we probably won't know until June who gave what, because the last time the mayor, he never did file a campaign finance report. I mean, you're required to file them periodically during the campaign, and he didn't. And he finally, like a few days before the general election, when he's going to win by whatever, he's got that one locked up. He finally put him out there. Finally. And that's just the way it is. Honestly, start looking around the city and county candidates. A lot of them don't file these reports because nobody enforces them. And pretty much all but one, every bill we had in the legislature this year to maybe do something about that, one's still alive. The rest of them are all down in committee.
Well, it's obvious
legislature
reason.
may want to bitch about this stuff, but honestly, when it comes to good government, this legislature, frankly, has been pitiful.
That's been terrible.
Oh, one reason you're having. I mean, look, they can all blast each other on social media and stuff, but about 4 years ago or so, 5 years ago, they had a bill come up. Remember, we would have been having this election in May. Remember the primary, but qualifying was March 1st. Then what they did was they moved all qualifying back to February 1st for all offices, which made it a lot tougher, especially in statewide races, legislative races, because that means, you got to qualify like 7 months now before the primary, not 6 months. Makes it even tougher to fundraise or make decisions on whether you should run. And you got to commit early.
Yep.
So, but the one thing that Tate, the legislature, the Democrat, Republican, the black, the white, the poor, the rich, one thing they all agreed on was that bill. Anything to make it easier tougher to beat an incumbent. They were all for it. Every one of them, top to bottom.
Well, just like trying to get them
sucker right through.
Just like trying to get them to vote for term limits. Kingfish, I got to go, brother. I'm up against the wall.
Hey,
Appreciate you.
What about initiative or referendum? Have we gotten it back yet? Nope.
Ain't going to.
Nope.
All right, brother. Be careful.
All right, great conversation. See you later.
Thanks. Kingfish, JacksonJambalaya.com. One of the best news outlets in the state of Mississippi, especially here locally. Check them out, JacksonJambalaya.com. Bookmark it. Check it out daily. We'll be right back to land the plane and get on out of here for the day ourselves. Don't go nowhere. All right, guys, I appreciate everybody tuning in today. It ended up being a good show. Shaun had something come up and had to back out on me at the last minute. So I didn't have a clue what we were going to talk about because I had one whole set of show prep over him to talk about with him. And I kind of had to wing it this morning, so I appreciate Kingfish calling in. But it ended up being a good show. Usually if I think it was a good show, it usually was, because I am my toughest critic, and I enjoyed today. Hey, real quick, before I let y'all slide, it's St. Patty's Day season. It's parade season. You know you need the shirt. Look at that. Look at that. That special edition FAFO St. Patty's Day shirt. It's 2 years in a row now that we've done one. They've been very successful. This one's no different. Got to have your order in by the 14th so you can have it in time for the parade. I wouldn't wait. I'd get it in. The sooner you get it in, the sooner you're going to get it. We were waiting and doing like one pre-order, and that was going to be it, but we decided to go ahead and print some that have been ordered so we can get them all done. Swing by the website, buyfafo.com, buyfafo.com. And don't forget, the very shirt that I'm wearing right now is on sale at the website. No promo code needed, only $20 plus shipping and handling. You can you order today, you'll have it tomorrow, locally anyway, as long as you get it in by the time the mail runs. Well, let me not do any guarantees on delivery. You order it today, you'll have it in the next couple of days. Buyfafo.com. And every shirt comes with a couple free stickers with the G.I. Joe logo. Boom. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Get out, support these great sponsors. Go eat lunch somewhere. Martin's, McBee's, Manship, El Patrio, Acme Pizza and Daiquiris. Well, they only do dinner. Y'all stay blessed. Thank y'all so much for the support. Peace.